coming across an individual who is a believer or a non-believer, we have an opportunity to share the gospel, whether it may be directly or indirectly, but we still have an opportunity to touch their soul.
Oh, yeah.
What does Matthew 7 say? To treat others the way that you want to be treated. The golden rule. That was love. We're just like looking at him like he was outlandishly just crazy out of his mind. That's entrepreneur. It is. But at the end of the day, what the lesson that we need to take out of this is that when the Lord tells you to build, the flood will speak for itself. The leader saw something in me, and I just trusted God, and that frustration, right? That tendency to go for justice just came out of me. I did my research. I trusted God. I took a step of faith, and I just started building.
They did better.
Yeah.
But, they probably overcorrected here. And we could do a little bit more.
That is true. Yeah. That is true.
So it's like we need to give ourselves grace.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Finally Motivated. Today I have two very special guests here. We have Cashna and Scarov Victor. They are a winning team, and anything that they do, they come out victoriously.
Amen.
So they are investors, short-term rentals. Cashna is a tutor. Scarov is an author. So congrats to him on that. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And he's also a pastor and a man of God. So thank you for joining us today. You guys are actually our first couple joining the podcast.
Wow.
So you're very special. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm very honored to have you.
No, thank you for having us. It's an honor to be here. This is amazing.
Why have you even thought about doing entrepreneurship? Has it always been something that was around you and you were influenced by it? Or was this something where you said, you know what? I just want to go out and do something, even though I haven't seen it. What was that experience like for you?
So for me, I saw it. I saw it. My dad had his taxi business for years. So it stopped during the pandemic. That's when he stopped. And he still worked full time. So he did that. He basically made up his hours. He came home when he wanted to, and then worked his other full time. So I saw it. But I don't think that drove me to become an entrepreneur. I think what really drove me, and I'll get into detail a little later, but it was more so what I love to do on a regular, which is I tutor. I teach from, as my 9 to 5. I can take it outside and do my own thing because I know what's right without the politics, without all that, just doing what's right for the kid. So that's what motivated me to do that.
As for me, I also, like Cashna, I saw it brought up when I was raised. My stepfather, he owned businesses, many businesses. And when he was a CPA, well, he's still a CPA, as a matter of fact. If you want your taxes done, go to my stepdad. Actually, during the tax season, very heavy. He has his own business, migrant from Haiti, and he took it upon himself to not only educate himself, but also go into business and to invest in himself. That's my motivation, I did not necessarily grow up with my dad, so any male figure, role model, standard of what a man should be, and of course, he was a deacon at our church, was my stepfather. So him starting his own business, coming from a different country, it's just like, I was born here. What's my excuse? You know what I'm saying? And another motivation for me was that I wanted to be debt free. Like listen, I want that financial freedom, but I do know that it costs. I know that, you have to take a risk. You like my stepfather, you have to be willing to bet on yourself. And those are my key motivators that allowed Cashna and I for us to take that risk into going into short-term rental.
So when you two met, did you feel like you had it figured out in terms of...
Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
You could have fooled me.
Really? No, I thought I'm going to be a teacher. As a matter of fact, I even got another certification so that in the future I can become a principal. I was going to be in the building and that's it, because why take risk when I'm safe with the 9 to 5. School day is not 9 to 5. It's 7 to 2:30 in my district. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was we didn't see that. I don't know.
No, I thought I was going to be preaching freelance and that was going to pay the bills. And then I had the sad reality of that. It doesn't pay the bills. But then again, that's not what we do it for. You know what I'm saying? We don't do it for the income. We do it for the outcome. You see what I'm saying? We want to see the people transform. We want to see people get in the gospel. However, the Lord did not just give me an ability or a gift to be an orator or to be a preacher, but he has given us other skills. And it's just like, I'm sorry, I'm about to go into Creole. Is that okay?
Well, the audience may not understand the Creole.
Okay. So I'm going to say it in Creole and then I'm going to translate it. C'est pour faire tout travail. Like, you have to make your mind work. If the Lord has blessed you with intelligence, right? If he has given you the ability to cognitively, work things out, we should have that opportunity to, I don't want to say make bank off of it, but utilize those skills to benefit us.
Yeah.
Don't waste it.
Yeah.
Don't waste your time.
Do you know how many talents
parable
and
of
gifts?
talents.
Yes, there are. Do you know how many talents and gifts that are buried in cemeteries right now?
For sure. That's the most valuable place.
Most valuable place is the cemetery. So much gifts and talents that are
I say
buried
that
there.
all the time.
Man,
You my brother for real.
listen, hey. But since we are alive, since we are breathing, since we're above ground, we're going to maximize and utilize what the Lord has blessed us with, not only for his kingdom, but also create a community and to create wealth, generational wealth for our families as well. So that's how I look at it.
Did you two always know what your talents were? When you met each other, did you know the potential of like the true potential of each other?
Funny thing is, I remember I used to look at hairstylists. I'm like, oh man, I wish I had like a gift like that. Because you could work your 9 to 5 and then you come home and you do hair. And I used to calculate, like, if you do 2 heads per day, that's like, and back then, like, if you did a sew-in, it's like $50 per head, right? And I did the calculation. I'm like, that's so much money. And I always told Scar, I'm like, man, I wish I had a gift. He's like, you teach. I'm like, but what can you do with that? Like, what do you do with that? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, I had a baby. And then I was maternity leave, and then I got bored. And I was like, let me just give this tutoring thing a try. And I was like, oh, I know how to do this. And this was birthed during the pandemic. And I think we can talk about that a little later. But I was like, oh. And then here we are. I went from one student, that's that parent to that parent, that parent to that parent.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, right? I can't even advertise anymore. I can't even put my flyer out on social media or anything because I don't have any more space. I'm all booked up. And literally, I didn't think I had that within me. I knew I could teach. I can get up and teach, eighth, but to stand and do a one-to-one, I was like, wait a minute.
Can I just add a little bit to what Kasha just said? Her humble beginnings was that she started off in church.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think that's one of the main things that we need to also remember. The place where you are tithing, the place that you are serving, that should be your first community. That should be your first area of you're trying to utilize your skills to enhance or to
Yeah.
assist. So Cashna, I watched her humble beginnings in the church basement. She offered her tutoring services
Oh,
to the children,
yeah.
and their parents signed up, and we all gathered like every Tuesday. We would drive to the church, and we would be in the basement, and she would tutor. So I would be in my office, and then she would be over there tutoring the children. But that's where she started, and just to see where it started to where it is now, we just give God praise. We give Yahweh praise, man. That's
Amen.
it. Yeah.
So how important is it to try something you like to do?
I don't want to sound cliche, but if you don't try it, then how are you going to know what you like or dislike or what you're going to fix or what you're not going to fix? I could have tried tutoring. I did it at home. I do it virtually. That's my non-negotiable. It's going to be virtual. But if it didn't work, it didn't work. And I would have just pivot and do something else. But because I tried it when I had the time and it works.
Yeah.
Like you gotta try it that way.
gotta try. Gotta step out on faith.
What do you think creates the perfect, or a good condition to experiment the way that you did? Because you mentioned that this was birthed during the pandemic. You also had a support system. You had someone that believed in you. You had something that gave you confidence and sustained growth, because it's ezy to give up.
Look how
But you
Pickens
did-
broke that down. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. But you didn't give up. Why?
Because that money was coming in.
Hey, listen, we gotta be real. We gotta be real.
Listen.
Bills gotta get paid. Student loans gotta get eliminated.
There were days where I'm like, this is truly a gift that I have. Hands down. People, the other day I was on the phone and somebody was like, okay. I was like, okay, I got to hang up now. I have my first student. And she was like, what? Wait, what time do you get done work? And I told her the time. She's like, and you start? I'm like, look, I wouldn't recommend this for anybody else. God has truly given me a grace for this. And when I see that money coming in every week, and that's aside from my teaching paycheck, I'm just like, yeah, this is good. And I will be very honest. My students, the testimonials. Like I have a student that's out of state, and her mom was like, she's no longer in such and such class. And I always give you your props because she sits in front of you. And now, like every time I hear those testimonies, I'm like, this is what I do it for.
That's it. It's more than the money.
Oh
It
yeah.
is.
Oh
It
yeah.
is.
I love my students. Like there are times where like they'll be like, well, Miss Victor, it's 7:00. We're done. I'm like, no, we're not. We're gonna be on until you're done this assignment. I don't charge the parents extra. I don't, because I know what it's like to not have that support system. So I'm gonna give you what I can give you, and you're gonna sit here until you're done with this assignment because. And I love when they're like, she's so strict, but that assignment is done.
So in a world full of influencers, the victors were impactors. And we want to make an impact in people's lives. And we can only do that with the imprint of God. So God is the center of everything that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so that when we are coming across an individual who is a believer or a non-believer, we have an opportunity to share the gospel, whether it may be directly or indirectly, but we still have an opportunity to touch their soul and show the parents, like with Cashna, I am an adjudicator for education. I believe in your child, and your child is going to make it. And I'm going to treat your child the way that I'm going to treat my child. So you're going to get 100% of me because I want you to succeed just like how I want my child to succeed.
So you operate out of love.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
From the core.
Oh yeah.
What does Matthew 7 say? To treat others the way that you want to be treated. The golden rule. That was love. Yes.
But how have you experienced it so that you can recognize it for you to share it? Because in order for you to share it, you would have to feel it so that you know it. How did you know it and feel it? What has been your experience that you're now expressing to others?
You want to go first?
I had a teacher allowed me to come into her classroom early in the morning. She would let me fix up the classroom. I thought that was cool to fix up a classroom. And then she'd be like, come on, let's sit down. We're going to do this. She even came to my house and wanted me to braid her hair. And I fell in love with this teacher because she gave me so much more than she didn't have to do all that. And so because she gave me that attention, she believed in me. Because in middle school, I had a little mouth. All right. So I was known as, oh, here comes Cashna because she's going to come and say, I was one of those. Okay. But she would say, you got a bad attitude, girl. But then she still sat with me and still made sure that you're going to make the honor roll. And so here I am. I'm not crediting everything to her, but she gave me that intention. It felt good that I was seen.
Yes.
I was seen past she has a bad attitude. She's a typical 8th grader, always running her mouth.
How important was that for you?
Super important because she was like, you have a bad attitude, but you could still, because, okay, when you have a bad attitude, you're always getting in trouble. You're always in ISS. I wasn't always in ISS, but I had some days where I was in ISS.
I was in ISS too.
You know, and so you're missing schoolwork, blah, blah, blah. So you're not really getting the learning that you need.
But seeing the evidence of the things that you are experiencing in terms of consequences, it's very easy to now create an identity that can be false of yourself.
Yes, it is true.
And it's hard to break from. But you were able to experience a different side of who you are.
I'm like, that's like, you're smart. I'm like, I am? Like, all I had to do was just buckle down and not have to talk back all the time.
So they saw you for who you are, not just for what you did.
Oh, yeah. And so when I have my toughest students, like I just had a student in January who was like getting in trouble, getting suspended, all that. And she just came the first day looking at me like, you ain't going to be able to help me. I'm failing all my classes. And here we are. It's the third marking period and she has no D's. She got a 69% in one of her classes. We're going to get that. But like she has A's and B's. And her mom's like, oh my goodness. I'm like, because all she needed was, I see you.
Yeah, let's talk about experiences that have impacted the way that we not only view ourselves, but it has shown you love.
So for me, growing up, just trying to figure out my calling, figure out my purpose, when I was exposed to preaching and ministering, I was just, a young guy, wet behind the ears, naive, wide-eyed. Not too many individuals knew about me or gave me an opportunity to minister on their pulpit. There was this young man. Still to this day, he's actually in my life. He supported me in what I'm doing, all my endeavors. You actually just saw him. I'm going to shout him out because I told myself that once I have an opportunity to shout him out, I will. His actual name is Pastor Patrick Petit. I met him at a Pt.1. Thank you. I met him at a camp. We just had a conversation. Base of a conversation. He goes, yo, man, like if you meet him, he's like very passionate, just very raw and real. He's like, yo, I want you to come preach at my church. I'm just like, I don't know about all that. Like I didn't have the confidence yet in myself. You know, I didn't have the Godfidence, I should say, in my abilities. And he's like, yeah, I want you to come preach at my church. And I'm just like, sure. He took down my number, and you know how people tell you things and they don't follow through? No, he followed through. Like he was a man of his word. Like, you know how the Bible says, let your yes be yes and your no be no? Like his yes was a yes. So he got that set up for me, but he didn't stop there. And I think that's what I loved about my experience and my encounter with him was that when he couldn't make it to a preaching engagement, he would refer me. And it would be like, I can't make it, but I do know a young man from Jersey named Scarov. Can he preach in my stead? And I think having that trust and having that backing up of an older man in my life in the same, realm of ministry was everything that I needed. That was the love that I needed. I just needed somebody to believe in me. Like Cashna said earlier, I just needed somebody to see me. Even though if I didn't see it for myself, he saw it in me. And not only did he see it in me, he allowed others to see it in me as well, as he would give my name to different churches and different opportunities. So once again, Pastor Patrick, if you're watching this, God bless you. I love you, brother. And I just thank you for just believing in me. Thank you for making an impact in my life. Thank you for the love that you've shown me. And just thank you for just helping create a platform that has been created.
It's amazing how connected that we are, and the energy that we carry within ourselves can have so much of an impact on other people. And that's why I truly believe that the more authentic that you are, the stronger that impact can have on others, because we often tend to provide a solution that we needed.
Yeah.
Can you speak on a bit of how you've been able to carry on the love that you've been able to receive?
Every year, shameless plug, we have we are adjudicators for education, right? So every year we have this ministry called Victorious Worship and Word, and we create a platform for young people to administer their God-given gifts. Right. But also over the years, the Lord has placed it upon my heart. And it's just like, we're always telling people, go get your education, go put some respect on your name and all that good stuff. Right. But let's spin around the block real quick. What are we actually doing? What physical, tangible thing that they actually have in their hands that shows our love and our support in their, academic endeavors. So the Lord placed it upon my heart to set up a scholarship. Yeah. So now every year we give out a scholarship to those that qualify from a candidate pool. And it's for those, not just for going into high school, into college, because you have to remember higher education doesn't stop at college and universities. But if you're going to try to get a trade, you know what I'm saying? If you're going into HVAC, if you're trying to do cosmetology, whatever form of higher education that you're trying to pursue, we believe in you. And not only do we want to just say something, but we want to do something about it. Yeah. So we're providing a scholarship for you so that you can obtain and ascertain that dream. Yeah, that's how we internalize how Pastor Patrick believed in me. That's how we're showing people that we believe in you as well. Yep. So that's how we're showing our love to others.
Yeah, and you've created a perpetual system that will continue to do that.
Oh, yes.
We're creating a legacy, brother.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
How important is that for you?
Creating legacies? It's very important. Legacies are things that you leave behind, the mark that you leave on the world. As Haitian Americans, as people of color, certain obstacles and oppositions our pigmentation has faced throughout the years. But if we can leave something behind and we can say, hey, this was created by a young Haitian American male, like that's that's amazing for me.
powerful.
That's beyond powerful. It's more than money to me. You know what I'm saying? Because we're actually creating an opportunity and opening a door for others to make it, but yet inspiring others that, hey, he looks just like me.
And I could do it too.
He took a step of faith, and I can do it too.
For sure.
That's what legacy means to me. That's what leaving a mark in this world means to me. Cashna.
You know, as soon as you started talking, I thought about in the book of Exodus, even in Genesis, Leviticus, okay, the Pentateuch, right?
Pentateuch, yeah.
It talks about a lot of how the Israelites used to sit and literally teach their children. I can remember in the book of Joshua, it was like, let's set up a monument so that the generations to come will remember what took place. It's not so to brag about it, but can you imagine sitting down and you're like, I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed right now. I don't think I'm feeling hopeless, right? And then you remember that monument that was built and you could be like, they went through X, Y, and Z. I'm going through X, Y, and Z. It looks different, but that legacy, that right there tells me I can keep on pushing.
Amen.
Yeah.
Regardless.
I love that. So you both are very faith-led. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And
yeah.
I believe that every entrepreneur walks by faith in some way.
We walk by faith and not by sight, brother.
Yeah, and you kind of have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because before your vision actually gets accomplished, you have to
before it
first
manifests,
see
yeah.
the unseen and believe it until the evidence catches up to the faith.
Come on now.
Because no one else will see it until you start actually doing it.
Preach, preacher.
And they'll start disrespecting what you're building until you start building the foundation that they feel like they can stand on and that it can last. And it will last more than the day that you say, oh, I'm going to do this. Yeah, but how long have you been doing it?
Yeah.
And then when the evidence starts catching up to it, that's when everybody starts believing. Because now they can see it.
Yeah.
So with that being said, well, thank you for the
Yeah.
No, listen, this is
You were
good
preaching.
I love the man. That was motivating me. I'm finally motivated now.
Finally motivated.
But I say that to say, when you two met each other, I'm guessing things look differently, right? And now you're able to see a lot of the things that you've been able to accomplish together in unity and creating a mutual vision. How has that vision changed along the years of building what you've built now?
I realized earlier you mentioned like you don't like chaos, right? That's me. I always want things in order, and if it's not done that way, I'm like, and I had to realize it's not only you now. You know, you can lean on your little boo, right? You know, you could talk to him and ask him some questions. And sometimes Scar, I know that's not a couples thing, but sometimes Scar is like,
No,
you're too
this is part of it.
Oh, this is part of it? Okay.
Yeah, you are a couple. That's who you are.
That's who we are.
And as an entrepreneur, that is important.
Exactly.
Because marriage is a business transaction as well.
It sure is.
And how do you build that together? You can't ignore the fact that this is your partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So please.
Oh no, I was just saying. He always says like you're too dependent. You have to be able to believe and just do it and just go and just. And I'm like, but I always feel like I'm gonna make a mistake. There was that fear. We're not gonna live by fear. But I would go to him and you know they always say opposites attract. Like he's the opposite. Yeah. Like I'd say, here's an idea. Here's this. Here's that. And he's like,
let's do it.
Let's do it.
That's how my wife is.
Let's do it.
I live in my head.
Yeah, he'd be like, let's do it. I'm
Go
like,
get her.
She already did it.
Yeah. And so and so there are times where I'm like, I don't feel like I could do this, but I know this is what God wants me to do. So let me go to Scar because I know he's gonna say, let's do it. So I know we gotta do it. I know we gotta, make it. I'm like, Scar, this is what I think. All right, let's go. I'm like, okay. You sure? Yes, let's go. Just that reassurance that we don't have to do this by ourselves. Like we're not the same people. And so I might bring this idea and you might say, hey, why don't you do this? At the end of the day, it's your idea and you can, but we know we have a common vision. We know we have a common goal, an end goal. And that is just to create whatever God has called us to create.
Yeah.
So when we actually think about the book of Genesis, let's take a look at the book of Noah. The story of Noah real quickly.
Yeah.
God instructed Noah to build in a midst of a drought, right? He's like, I need you to build out a gopher wood, this amount of centimeters, these are the measurements, these are the rows, this is the space I want you to build so that you can occupy what I'm getting ready to fill it up with. And at the end of the day, there were people that were mocking him. There were people that didn't believe in him. There were people that were just like looking at him like he was outlandishly just crazy out of his mind. That's entrepreneur. It is. But at the end of the day, what the lesson that we need to take out of this is that when the Lord tells you to build. The flood will speak for itself. Because at the end of the day, there was a flood that was coming. They didn't see it. They didn't hear it. But at the end of the day, it was still, it did. Just because you don't see it does not mean that it doesn't exist. You see what I'm saying? So it was still coming. Noah's job was just to obey and to build. And that's what we're doing with our entrepreneur activities. We are building because we have no idea what type of flood is coming. The risk, everything.
You could drown in the risk.
Come on now.
But who wants to do that?
Nobody wants to drown in risk.
Now the ark won't be built. So tell us a bit about some of the arks that you two have built together.
Oh, wow. Scar, you go first.
So some of the arcs that we built together is I actually am a first-time author. I've never dreamed about being an author. This is actually something that the Lord placed upon my heart. And we have, I can't say I, but we have our first book out, and it's called Serving Requires. And basically, this book is a Bible study. It is a practical daily devotional. It is guidance, instructions. It is revelation, insight. I tried to make this book as relevant, as practical, and as applicable, I can say that, as possible. And this book basically talks about the stewardship of serving. First, how to serve God. Next, how to serve man. So that's what this book is about. And this is one of our arcs, if you will. And you said something earlier that kind of sparked my attention. You said building on foundation. People may not trust the foundation, or they may look at it. Here's the thing. We thank God because in 1 Corinthians, the foundation has been already laid for us.
Amen.
Our foundation is Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. He is our foundation. And all we have to do is just build upon him. So when it came to this book, I literally took a step of faith. Like I told you, I didn't have any aspirations of being an author. My wife and I, we were actually fasting of January 2024. And she came to me and she goes, listen, remember that idea of that book that you always said that you want to write? You should go write it. Now, here's where the roles reverse. Usually, Cashna's the one that's coming to me like, hey, I have this idea. What do you do? And I'm the one that's like, yeah, go do it. No, but this time it was like, Cashna's like, nah, go do it. Go do it now.
Yeah. She learned from you.
She learned. Hey, listen. So I went into my prayer closet. We turned over our plates. Multiple times. Like fasting has become a lifestyle for us. And I've actually had several manuscripts on like flash drives. I couldn't find them. My old laptops, I had some manuscripts. Couldn't find it. Actually, my old laptop, I can't even remember the password to access it. So I'm just like, God, you told me to write a book. My wife came and reaffirmed it. But what am I going to write about that people want to hear? Talk about your passion. Talk about what you love to do. What do I love to do? What's my love language?